we're going to dig into some of these synthesis problems. Rhetorical synthesis is what they call them. I call them the bullet point problems. And there's a specific process that I like to follow that you could solve these way quicker and way more easily, I think, than you might think. So I'm just going to go through like 4 or 5 of them, see how it goes. I'm on OnePrep, which is a great free website for SAT problems, and I didn't really do any filters except I'm only tackling problems that I haven't seen before. So you'll see in real time kind of how I process things. And the first step is you start with the question. You don't start with reading the bullet points. That's a big mistake people make. So let's just dig in. We're going to go question, then answers, then bullet points if necessary. You'll see what I mean when I say if necessary. So this one says the student wants to emphasize the distance covered by the Philadelphia and Lancaster Turnpike. Okay, so distance covered by Philadelphia and Lancaster. So 2 different turnpikes maybe. We'll see. The 62-mile long Philadelphia and Lancaster Turnpike connected the Pennsylvania cities of Philadelphia. Okay, that's a great answer because it says right there 62 miles. So I'm just going to actually skim the other answers and see if any of them mention the length because that already feels like it's got to be the right answer. This one, first part, nope. Connected to cities, no. Story, okay, it's got to be A because that's the only one that actually covers the distance. So that's a pretty easy one. Next up, student wants to identify which of the 3 foods has the highest magnesium content. Okay, so we need something that actually answers that. So at 80 milligrams, I don't know what that means. Milligrams per ounce magnesium, I don't care. Almonds contain more than peanuts. Okay, that doesn't answer our question because we're looking for 3 foods. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, sorry. Which of the 3 foods has the highest? So this one says almonds have more than peanuts, but that's just comparing 2. So we need to say like 1 out of a list of 3. Chia seeds contain 150, which is more than peanuts and almonds. Okay, B looks good. Magnesium is present in many foods, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say which has the most, so that doesn't matter. Peanuts contain 49. A mineral the human body okay, it's definitely B. I think, yeah, difficulty easy. I'd say so. I forgot to hit the check. That was this one. Good. Next, let's skip ahead to something harder. Is 8 gonna be hard? That's medium. Okay, let's try this. The student wants to emphasize a similarity between Uros and Fortuna. Okay, I have no idea what these things are, but we're looking for a similarity. The smooth LED domes of this thing stand in contrast. Okay, contrast is not similar to blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's definitely not right. At this size, 19,950, whatever, cuts a larger figure than the other one. Okay, larger figure, not really a similarity. This one is the artist behind Uros, a sculpture made of smooth multicolored LED. This one only mentions the Uros Island. It doesn't mention the Fortuna, so that can't be right. Uros Island is an LED light sculpture made by blah, 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 as is Fortuna. As is, similar. Boom. See, it's a giveaway. You don't have to read any of this. Check. Next. I want to get to a hard one. What's hard? 9? 9's hard. Okay. Let's try this one. See if the same trick will work. It might not. The student wants to emphasize a difference between the 2 books. Okay. We're looking for a difference, and we have to mention 2 books. Although both are powerful works of literature that contributed to new legislation, this book is an autobiography and Sinclair's is fictional. So A, okay, if this was like an easy or a medium, A would basically always be the right answer. Sometimes with the hard ones, they give you multiple things that could be correct, and then you have to check in the notes to see which one's actually factual based on the notes. So let's see if that's the case here. But A could definitely be the right answer. They may have written about different topics, but Equino and Sinclair both influence readers. A lot of people might get tripped up on this. This is emphasizing a similarity, because that's the main part of the sentence. This is almost parenthetical. Like, yeah, they might be kind of different, but mainly they're similar. I hope that makes sense. I guess if you're like not a native English speaker, that might be really confusing. But once you say but, like everything before it almost like doesn't matter that much. You're like negating it. So like if you think about whatever, I'm rambling, but like a compliment sandwich. You like say something nice and then you say, this wasn't so good. Okay, the 1807 Slave Trade Act resulted in part from a book by Equano, while the 1906 Pure Food and Drug Act resulted in part from a book by Sinclair. Wow. C. C is like giving a similarity and a difference, because both of them influenced these acts, but they're different acts. Like one is the Slave Trade Act and one is the Pure Food and Drug Act. And it says while. So while is kind of like it's different. So C could be correct. Right now, A and C, I'm both like, I'm not eliminating either one yet. Interesting narrative of life, blah, 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 and The Jungle are two works of literature that contributed to new legislation. That's clearly emphasizing a similarity. So it's got to be A or C. Now, how do we discern between the two? Now, I would go into the notes because I want to say that A is right because that's like the least ambiguous. I just have to verify that Equano's book is an autobiography and Sinclair's is fictional. If that's correct, then I'm comfortable going with A. So Equano's book, let's see here, is the autobiography. Okay, so Equano's is an autobiography. The Jungle is fictional. So I'm going to go with A. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, let's go. So you saw how this one's harder because A and C both were kind of plausible. A felt a little more comfortable, but sometimes you get things that are not factual in the notes. So like if we found out that they flipped this, that if they had written like Equano's book is fictional while Sinclair's is an autobiography, then C might have been the right answer. Like probably would have been. Let's just do one more. And okay. The student wants to specify how the salt enables energy storage. Which choice most effective? I don't need to read that. Okay. How salt enables energy storage. So we need like some details here. Like how does this happen? Scientists developed a freeze-thaw battery that contains molten salt which liquefies when heated and solidifies at room temperature. Okay, that doesn't mention anything about energy. So that might be something that happens, but where is the connection to energy storage? The stored energy in a freeze-thaw battery, which contains molten salt, can be used by reheating the battery. I don't like this one. The storage energy in a freeze-thaw battery. Okay, which contains molten salt. It's almost like it happens to have salt in it. It's not talking about how salt is like a main functioner in this. Can be used. I don't like B at all. When the molten salt in a freeze-thaw battery solidifies at room temperature, energy stops flowing and can be stored in the battery. That looks like a great answer because it's explaining exactly how the salt is like doing something that enables energy storage. Molten salt allows a freeze-thaw battery to retain 92% of its charge after 12 weeks. That's like a fact, but it doesn't say like how the salt enables the energy storage. Molten salt allows. It's just saying that it does enable it. It doesn't say how. That's what it's missing. So C has to be the right answer. Yeah, cool. Okay, so that's like the gist of it. Go questions, then answers. Make sure the answers like really answer the question. Like pay attention to every word in this because it's just one sentence. So you really have to pay close attention to every single word in it and make sure that the answer is doing everything that the question asks it to do.